It was the quiet morning of June 6, 1944. The sun had not yet fully risen, but a storm of fear and hope had already swept across the horizon of Europe. The sea, sitting on the shore, seemed to sense the coming moments. This was not just another day. This was a day that would change the history of the world, a day that would breathe new life into the war for freedom. This day brought the largest military operation of World War II, which we know today as D-Day. Allied forces, including brave soldiers from the United States, Britain, Canada, and other countries, were preparing to land on the northern coast of France at Normandy. Their hearts were beating fast, but their determination was so strong that even fear seemed weak in front of it. In the darkness of the night, thousands of planes were landing in enemy territory with soldiers, while hundreds of ships stood at sea with their guns open. Each soldier knew that this journey could be their last, but they still kept going, just to make a dream come true, the dream of freedom. As the sun shone on the sea, bullets and bombs rained down on the shore. Soldiers running into the water, screaming soldiers, fallen soldiers. It was a heartbreaking sight. The sand was red with blood, but that wave of bravery was the most powerful. Some died before they reached the shore, but those who did not stop fighting. Those beaches of Normandy were not just a battlefield. They had become a land of promise. A promise that Europe would be freed from tyranny and oppression. With each step, that promise was getting closer to reality, no matter how many sacrifices had to be made in exchange. This moment was not just a military operation. It was a great example of the unity and sacrifice of humanity. Different languages, different faces, different backgrounds, but everyone had the same goal: freedom. The world saw that day that when people come together for a common cause, they can make the impossible possible. But the question is, when and why did it all happen? World War II had reduced Europe to ruins. The power of Nazi Germany held every city, every village, and every heart in fear. D-Day was the answer to that fear, a plan designed to pull Europe out of the darkness of oppression. The operation, which began on June 6, 1944, was the result of months of planning, strategy, and sacrifice. As soon as the Allied forces set foot in Western Europe, they began to push back the power of Germany. There was resistance at every step. Every step was deadly, but hope was alive, the hope that the end of the war was near. There were also moments on the land of Normandy when soldiers would hold each other, pick up wounded comrades, and carry them to shelters. These scenes showed that even in war, humanity remains, and this humanity becomes the real power to move forward. At that time, ordinary citizens were not silent spectators either. The people of Normandy, who had been under German occupation for years, were praying for freedom. As Allied forces swept ashore, these local people joined the soldiers in laying the foundation for a new journey, a journey to a free Europe. It was not just soldiers who were fighting in this war, it was humanity. A soldier who could not return home made this sacrifice with the belief that future generations would be able to breathe free air. Their bravery and sacrifice laid the foundation on which today's free world stands. In the days that followed D-Day, Allied forces liberated French cities one by one. This was not just a military victory, it was a journey of freedom that was awakening hope throughout Europe. Each victory brought the dream closer to reality that the darkness of war was now ending. Today, when we remember D-Day, it is not just history, it becomes a feeling of sacrifice, of courage, and of freedom. This day reminds us that freedom is never easy. It is written with blood, sweat, and countless sacrifices, and perhaps that is why June 6, 1944 will always be remembered, because it was the day that saved Europe.